you so much, Susan, and thanks everyone for joining us today. Jamie, I saw that you had a comment saying I was a little bit hard to hear in the introductory piece. So I will try and make sure I speak directly into the microphone, and I'm sure Susan will message me if anything's going wrong. And I expect to get a message saying I'm now too loud. So, whatever. It is what it is. We'll make the best of this. So this is what I'm going to go through today. It's quite a lot of content, and I warn you now, some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is probably going to be a little bit out there for you. This is what I like to think of as leading edge. One of my colleagues said to me is, at times it feels like I've gone over the edge, but this is the kind of conversation I'm having with a lot of my customers now, with a lot of executives who are looking to improve the performance of their organizations through better project delivery. This is what I'm advocating with them, and we're having a lot of success as we try and put some of this stuff together. Now, I will say this. You cannot do anything that I'm going to talk about today in one great lump because it will stop your ability to run the business. You're going to have to evolve to some of these pieces. So bear that in mind as we go through. This is the agenda. We're going to talk about how portfolio management is right now. We're going to talk about some of the problems that exist with that, and then I'm going to introduce you to this new way of thinking about portfolio management, new way of positioning portfolio management within organizations. At the heart of that is this idea of the portfolio as a hub of everything that happens within the organization. I'll explain what I mean about that when we get to it. Then I'm going to talk about how we actually build and integrate this. I'm going to talk about the role of the PMO. This is a portfolio management presentation, but we can't have that conversation without also considering the role of the project management office, or a role of the project management office in that conversation. And then I want to finally end up, before we go to the questions, with giving you some idea of how you can actually start this journey in your organization, how you can actually make this happen and put together a roadmap to create a portfolio-driven environment in your organization. So a lot of stuff that we're going to go through. I will get to as much interest content here as possible. I'm sorry if some of it gets a bit dry, but we will see what we can do. So let's talk a little bit about portfolio management right now, as it stands probably in one form or another in your organization if you're currently doing portfolio management. It's a progression from the idea that project delivery had to be more than on time, on scope, and on budget. Sure, that's important. If you've been managing projects for any length of time, you know that triple constraint is the heart of everything we do in project management. We focus on making sure we deliver all of the features that we have to deliver with the resources that we're given and the money that we're given by the deadline that we're told it has to be done by. But suppose you do that. Suppose you deliver on time, on scope, and on budget, and then the business doesn't actually gain from that. Is that a successful project? No, of course not. You could deliver the perfect product, exactly as asked, exactly as defined, but if nobody buys it, that product fails. So we have to think about delivering on benefit. So in other words, we may be a little bit late, we may be a little bit over budget, and we may be a little bit light on features. But if we gained the market share, the cost reduction, the revenue, the profitability, the customer satisfaction, whatever it might be, if we gain that, then we have a successful project. That's what's led to portfolio management as it stands today, is to say, okay, let's not just look at on-benefit delivery at a project level, let's consider it for the entire organization, for the entire portfolio of strategic projects. So in other words, are we achieving all of our annual goals and objectives through the successful delivery of all of the projects? Obviously, some goals and objectives are more geared to operations, but we focus on those that we have to achieve through projects. So that's where portfolio management really started from. It was an idea that we're going to link strategy, and specifically the definition of strategy, the establishment of what we have to achieve in the next financial period, with the execution of the work that is actually designed to hit that. The idea was that it would create a consistent enterprise-wide approach, or at least a department-wide approach if it was a departmental portfolio, to the way that we do projects and the mindset that we have in how we execute them. We don't just focus on the triple constraint, we focus on the on-benefit delivery for all of our projects. And we generally recognize that portfolio management today is improving the project results that we're achieving. It's not perfect, but it is improving things. But It's not where it needs to be. Even if your organization is thrilled with the way that it's using portfolio management, I guarantee you it's not as good as it could be. You are not optimizing your performance. In the vast majority of organizations, portfolio management is still seen as an overlay to everything else the organization does. I'll give you a very easy example of that, and it speaks to this bullet point number 2 here. We tend to have a set way that we do annual planning. In your organization, there's probably a period of time, 2, 3, maybe a few more months before the start of a financial period, before the start of a year, where you have some kind of planning exercise. You have to do proposals, you have to come up with ideas that align with what the organization wants to achieve, and then you do some business cases, and there'll be some kind of executive get-together where they review the different business cases and decide which projects are going to be approved. That process hasn't changed for years and years and years, and even if we accept that organizations are now getting into more adaptive planning, they're planning on a more frequent cycle, and they're reviewing plans on a quarterly basis instead of just annually, the annual planning process probably still hasn't changed that much. It still goes on as an offsite. It still goes on as, yeah, I'll approve your project if you approve my project. It's not a great process. And what's more, the actual portfolio management piece is not even part of that table at most of the time. Portfolio management doesn't start until after the portfolio is defined. We've said, okay, these are the projects that have to be approved. These are the projects that have to be done. That's now your portfolio. Go make it happen. So portfolio management is still only focused on the execution piece, not on the planning piece. And as we'll see later on, that's a huge, huge problem. It limits the portfolio management's ability to succeed. It limits what it can do to actually deliver improvements to the business. We're also not evolving portfolio management fast enough. It was almost as though portfolio management was seen as the end goal for organizations. They recognized that project management wasn't enough. They may have put a PMO in place, but that really wasn't driving improvements either. So now all of a sudden, we're going to do portfolio management. And when we've done portfolio management, great, everything's done, it's out the way, everything's over with. No, you can't stop. You have to evolve, you have to grow, just like every other part of the business, especially in today's world where everything is driven by technology. Everything is all about doing things in less time and faster and more effective and more efficient than we did last time. Portfolio management can't be any different from that. And what's more, the promises of project portfolio management, PPM, are not being delivered. Organizations that implemented portfolio management did so because either the software vendor that was trying to sell them the tool, or the professional services body that was trying to implement the tool, or the external consultant who they brought in to say, make my business better, said, oh, what you need is portfolio management and it will make everything wonderful. All of a sudden you'll consistently achieve all your goals, your project managers will be more effective, your teams will know what they're doing, you'll have this great...
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Malutis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.